Kalah Sprabeary, Hub Funding Solutions.
And thank you very much for joining us here in the Crude Life Media Network. And love to talk a little bit about some money issues and some investment opportunities and that sort of thing. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, we're going to talk about a conference or an event that Kalah went to. There was a lot of things happening in the world of economics of oil and gas. And then, of course, we'll transition that into how she can assist anybody looking at getting some monies and everything else like that. So how you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us here today to talk a little bit about the conference and then ways that people can, get some capital so that they can get either back in the game or extend the game or get some business things going, that sort of thing. But first, what was the conference that you attended?
Yeah, it was the Economics of Oil and Gas. It was presented by Tim Snyder of Matador Economics. Karr, Ingham, and Baron Lucas of EHS was there as well. I mean, it was really amazing. I got the invite. I've been reading his newsletter for a while, and he has something every day, and the economics of it were just interesting, but they were, like all of us, they can get a little over your head. But I really wanted to learn more, so I accepted his invitation and went to this roundtable in Dallas.
So were any sort of trends discussed or that sort of thing? I always like to look for a theme or a trend when these roundtables get together, because generally that seems to direct a lot of the conversation. Was that the case, or was it just a potpourri of different topics?
Well, the focus was on oil and gas, but, I like to see numbers in action. And this presentation took the information that I already knew and really put it into perspective, for the way that I lend and who I want to lend to. So it really made a big impact on me. One of the things that they were talking about were trends, and the thing that I took away from it was that we're going to see WTI between $70 to $85 a barrel, and, that's a good thing. In our field, in finance, we want stability and slow growth. And the trends that they were showing me really, really give us that.
I was having that conversation this weekend because pretty much anywhere I go, especially up near the Bakken, the big Bakken boom, and the Permian's experiencing that in the headlines right now. So I'm sure you get that if you mention that you are involved in oil and gas in any way. Well, tell me about the Permian boom that's going on. And what I like to tell people is that the kind of the crazy days are over. It's really an industry right now, and like you mentioned, the slow growth. That's kind of what's happening, and it is a good thing, because the crazy days that were happening, 5-6 years ago, that was really led to a lot of unpredictability. And of course, oil and gas does not like unpredictability. So that, I don't know, to me, that's what I saw, is that it's more of an industry. And it sounds like that was one of the trends there. If you said that, they're looking for the stability and slow growth. So that was one of the discussions, huh?
Absolutely. Everybody wants the big, fast paydays. But what we learned in the last boom and bust when I went through that was that payouts were so high. We had this huge oil, we had these huge payouts. I mean, the daily rates on labor and rentals was huge. But at the same time, when it went down hard and fast, and nobody could make that work. And so overhead was really killing people. So that's one thing that the stability provides. It provides, business owners with a way to run their company and be able to gauge things on a better basis than just, we're looking at, it's just going to go up, up, up. We want to see steady. And steady is going to give the predictability to help a business grow, because a business needs to grow steadily to really hit what it wants to, keep everything, transitioning well and keep it balanced.
You mentioned overhead, and I was going to throw out there, because I usually do, during the big heyday, the big $100 oil days, that sort of things, there was kind of a little bit of a warning for people that never really experienced the oil and gas industry in the past to, don't go put that 16 fleet expansion on quite yet. Don't, overspend your overhead right now because, you're not sure what's going to happen. And, when you think about the election coming up and just kind of some of the political things that's happening over in the Middle East, and I think of the tariffs and some of these steel prices and increases, that can kind of play into this a little bit. So what you're talking about with overhead is really, in my opinion, just like it was before when prices dropped, people really do need to examine where they've spent their money, especially right now, don't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The company's overhead will either make them or break them. And, we have a lot of things that play into that. It's your equipment, your labor, your fuel, your insurance. All of these things play a part, and a lot of people think, oh, yeah, I'll just pick up another truck. I'll just go buy it. Well, have they really examined, A, can you get a man to drive that truck? B, are you going to be able to afford the increase in insurance that you're going to be having? And C, what about that payment? Even if you buy it at cash, you're still going to have some things that come out from that. Cash is not always key in this game. There is a way to wax and wane that to where it's really to the benefit. And let's talk about fuel. In most cases, fuel is a big part of overhead. And, Tim's thought was that fuel will go down before Christmas. And if there's no shakeup politically after the election, the status quo will continue. And that's really what we want to see. So it's really taking it all into account to make sure that they're getting the most for their dollar and taking every dollar that's coming in and accounting for that. And that's something that we like to help our clients with, is to really see the big picture so that they can put the right amount of, new labor into play and new equipment into play.
Kalah Sprabeary with Hub Funding Solutions. She was just at a roundtable, Economics of Oil and Gas. And I was going to ask you, I think you mentioned Tim Snyder, Matador Economics, Karr, Ingham, and Baron Lucas. Did I kind of quickly wrote them down, so I apologize to Karr for the last name. How do you pronounce it? Ingham, thank you. Of EHS. And did they talk about kind of the future? Do they speculate a little bit on predictions, that sort of thing, or do they just mostly stay in the present and the past? Or did they have anything to say about what to look for next year?
They did talk about the future, and I want to say Baron Lucas was with EHS. And, what was great about this was that they didn't all just agree. They didn't try to create some one idea. They all had different ideas, and it was very interesting, especially coming up on the future. Someone said, we can't see that for one of them said, yes, we can. And we kind of came to an understanding that, as long as things stay along the same lines politically after this election, CapEx's, price stability, and employment should really stay about the same. As far as future goes out, they were really only comfortable going out through, second quarter of next year. And from what they're seeing, they said it should be good. Nobody knows. If something goes crazy in the election, some things change, then we're going to have some shakeups. If we have some shakeups in the Middle East, it could affect it somewhat. But really, what they're showing is we have such a great market in oil and gas here right now that we can really do something productive in the future in the next 12 to 18 months. And, I'll get to that here in a minute because I've got some ideas on that. But, they're seeing that things through the second quarter next year could be really good. So there's room for that expansion, room to take on a little bit more for the end of this year and the start of next year. So all in all, they felt really good about it, which was great to hear. That's what you want to hear when, we land anywhere from 24 months out to 5 years. And that's what we really want to see is, do you see something positive that we can grow in? I really got that vibe.
Well, let's get to the big question here, because these conferences are great to go to and network and meet people and everything. But at the end of the day, you got to take away something from there. You gotta be able to extract some information from there. So, you guys over at Hub Funding Solutions, without giving away the farm here, what type of takeaways are you guys bringing to your clients?
Okay, so here's what we're seeing. In the business, there's going to be fewer rigs right now. That doesn't necessarily mean less production. And this is what, especially service companies, really need to see. Production actually went up when the rig counts were low in 15 and 16 in Texas. Okay? So that was our main focus, was Texas. Didn't really talk about blocking much. That's somebody has information to give me, please hand it over to me. I'd love to see that. But production actually went up and rig counts were low in 15 and 16. And Jason, you know this. With the advancements in technology, they can drill a large amount of wells on one pad. I saw it up in the Bakken. I'm seeing it in Texas even more. They could put anywhere from 3 to 10 wells on one pad, which is great for everyone. So, if somebody's looking to get into the business or they're just getting out there, don't be fooled by the rig count.
Isn't that amazing what they're being able to do with these wells now and walking rigs and I haven't been confirmed, but 3 miles instead of 2 miles, as far as the horizontal drilling, that sort of thing. How about the midstream pipelines, that sort of thing? Kind of those, I don't know if you call them ancillary, but the midstream companies. What any takeaways from there?
Oh, that's the thing. We're seeing that they're going to be far from ancillary in the next 12 to 18 months. What we're really looking at is a midstream and pipeline boom. The thing is that they're all cleared to get put in. So we're seeing new pipelines that are going to be going in all over the place between the next 12 and 18 months. So we're going to see a lot of opportunities for pipeline construction and hydro excavation in the next year and a half, which I'm really excited to see. I mean, these are a lot of the things that are not necessarily on a rig, but it's things where they can get great contracts and come in and really make a lot of good money and make a name for themselves while this is going on. So I'm really excited about that from a construction viewpoint.
Well, and that's the thing that I believe is important to point out is that, if you've got $70 oil, $80 oil, that type of thing, so you've got some good oil activity happening. And then, you take a look at the infrastructure that's being built. So then you've got the infrastructure building side of things too. So you've got a lot of just economic activity happening and percolating around oil and gas. And, what a great time. I mean, what a great time to be in the industry. Of course, the backbone of all of this, there is the rail to a certain degree, but really trucking, I guess the rail would be the backbone of the economy, and then the trucking industry would be the arteries and everything else, I guess. But, we got to get the goods and services from point A to point B. We got to get the stuff to the market. Was trucking discussed during this roundtable discussion? And what type of takeaway do you have for that industry?
It was, and I was really glad to see that it was discussed. I mean, we're working with trucking companies that are in oil and gas, but we're also working with trucking companies that are in aggregate hauling, that are in goods hauling, like even down to your grocery stores. And trucking is going to continue to be a huge factor in a growing industry. So it looks like with the DOT changes that are taking place, that it's going to be easier for companies to fill their seats. That's been a struggle over the past year, is just getting drivers in the seats. So that's something that I've been glad to see. Another thing we discussed was the impact of the tariffs. And what we're seeing is that the tariffs will have an impact on the price increases of new trucks and trailers. Of course, they had to be manufactured with something. But companies are able to avoid that increase, especially with us, because get a used truck, get a used trailer. There's a lot of them that are out there that are really nice. We help source some. A lot of people come to us and just say, hey, I found a used truck and a used trailer. Can you do it? And 9 times out of 10, we can. So that's really going to help bypass. New trucks are great, but if you can find an older truck that you can make work, so can we. And that's what I'm really excited about, is that we're going to be able to keep trucking going to mitigate some of that overhead cost to them by being able to fund, used trucks and trailers.
Kalah Sprabeary, Hub Funding Solutions. So what's happening around your office? What are you guys focused on here? We're kind of winding up the interview. So what's going on at your guys' place of business? You guys have some pretty exciting stuff for the fourth quarter and next year?
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, we've had a really, really great month in October so far. Just closed another one today that should be funding in about 15 minutes now, and we're just really excited about it. We've expanded our solutions. Our working capital options have really, really come into play this past couple months. Basically, if we can't get you funded with working capital, nobody can. And I know that that's a bold statement, but we've had a lot of big things come into play, and I'm just really excited to see where that's going to go. Let's go to the equipment side, the vehicles. We're now able to order from the manufacturers on vehicles, which is a big thing, especially with Ford. We love to do F-250s, F-350s, 450s, 550s, the big things, cranes, all those good things. And we can do all of those now that we weren't able to do before. And I can do one, or I can do 100. And so I think that's something that we're really going to be shaking up the game and really going to spitting against those rental companies now. A lot of those vehicle companies are renting just like the equipment. They're there to make a profit. And the way we do it, we're there to help you get 100% write-off. So that's something that we're really excited about. And then, one thing I wanted to say, we just got in approvals to go up to 150,000 app only. That's great when somebody just needs to pick something up. And then our total lending capability has gone up to $2 billion per transaction.
That's with a B?
So, with a B.
Billion.
With a B. I'm really excited about that one.
Well, that's pretty neat. $2 billion per transaction. I wanted to ask you, if you guys are getting in that kind of dollar range, the first thing that popped into my head was some of these shops and almost strip malls, if you will, in some of the oil towns that are growing. Do you guys get much into commercial real estate?
Yeah, we do actually. I'm actually doing a refinance on some commercial real estate to free up some capital. Basically, we're doing a commercial real estate refinance with a cash out. So that means like this manufacturing company I'm working with, they wanted to pay down some things. We're going to refinance their existing real estate, take that cash out, and they're going to pay off some debt with it. And then we're going to get them on a restructure to help them create more cash flow. Also doing that for a farmer, and then that's been interesting. And then also going into storefronts and yards, things like that. If somebody's looking to get commercial real estate or they're looking to refinance it and get some cash out, we are able to do both of those now. And it's really exciting to be able to serve our clients all the way around.
Well, there's a lot of reasons to get some cash. So, Kalah Sprabeary with Hub Funding Solutions, tell us how that people can find you online or give you a phone call or send you an email, that type of thing. Anybody who wants to think about getting some cash or a loan or something like that in the oil and gas business, commercial real estate, a number of different things, aggregate, trucking, all kinds of things. So how can people contact you?
Yeah, the best way to find us is to go to our website, hubfundingsolutions.com. And then I'm really active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great way to find us. And we post content, stories, things that we've done just to keep people engaged, and we're easy to get with. You can also call us direct. I'm big on phone calls. Our direct number is 806-777-2902, or you can email us at info@hubfundingsolutions.com.